for more insight into President Ruto's decision to withdraw the proposed finance bill to raise funds to pay off government debt. Let's go to Xn Iraki in Nairobi. He is an associate professor of business and management sciences at the University of Nairobi. Professor Iraki, welcome to the program.
Good evening.
The bill was framed as an effort to increase revenue to help the country deal with immense debt. What is the essence of the bill?
I think the bill has, first of all, been very contentious because while the government is saying that they want more funds for funding projects and for making sure that we don't get more debt, people are feeling that this finance bill is going to cause a lot of hardship to the ordinary Kenyans. Kenyans are saying that the cost of living has gone up, that if more taxes are instituted, the cost of living will go even higher. And they are saying, wait a minute, we are already suffering. Why did you make our suffering even more? So I think the most contentious issue in that bill is actually more taxation, taxing some items that were not taxed before, like bread, taxing cars that were not there. But the government came and withdrew some of those contentious clauses. And today, the president will withdraw the bill. And we are hoping that after withdrawing the bill, people are going to be relaxed and they're going to believe that the changes are inevitable. And what they thought was not very good for the taxation is going to be withdrawn indefinitely. But we can only wait and see.
So in terms of revenues, what are the government's targets with the tax hike?
The government was targeting to raise about 300 billion Kenyan shillings from the extra taxes. Remember that we have a bigger budget of about 3.99 trillion Kenyan shillings. And the government is intending to reduce the budget deficit so that we don't borrow as much as we are borrowing before. And one way to reduce the budget deficit is to raise more taxes. And the more taxes that the government intends to raise was coming from the informal sector, from people who were not paying taxes before. And they are feeling that they're advantage because of the bad economic situation. But it was ambitious, but we are going to wait and see.
And quickly, before we wrap, what alternative fiscal policies could the Kenyan government consider to raise necessary funds?
One of the most often discussed issues is that if you are not able to fund the budget, why don't you reduce the budget? Why don't you live within your means? And the other contentious issue that Kenyans are talking about is why don't you reduce the government expenditure? And one of the most focused area is corruption. That if you can reduce the corruption, you don't need to pay the taxes. You don't need to borrow. And that's why Kenyans are saying, instead of raising taxes, instead of borrowing, why don't you reduce corruption? And more money will be available for the economy, and everybody will be happy.
Okay. We have to leave it there, Professor Iraki. The message is clear. Thank you so much for your perspective.